This is how I blew up this building with VFX, using a whole host of applications including Nuke, After Effects, Blender, 3ds Max, TyFlow, Phoenix FD, and V-Ray. Let's do it. The first thing I did was a camera track in Nuke. You can use After Effects, you can use Blender, you can use whatever you want. For me personally, I just get the best results using Nuke, so that's what I use. After solving the camera, I refined the track. I went over to the Auto Tracks tab, and on the left you can see I highlighted Error Track, Error Max, Max Track Error, and Max Error. I played with the settings at the bottom. Min length is the minimum amount of frames a tracker can track in order to be considered. So you can see it's set to 3 frames. That means it has to track 3 frames minimum in order to be considered. I played with the other settings until I dropped the track error from 1.01 all the way to 0.57. I exported this camera data to Blender, where I modeled just this part of the building. For reference, this is the entire shot, so you can see it's just part of the building, because that's the only part of the building that is being affected by the visual effects. Once I got the general model in place, I textured it with the footage from the building, and then I chopped up the model into different pieces. As you can see here, the roof pieces, the window glass, and the window frames, so that I can have control of each of these elements separately when I do the destruction effects. I used TyFlow for the destruction effects. Here you can see the different colors in the building. Basically what that is the green parts are static pieces that don't move, but other pieces can still interact with them. So for instance, the blue pieces are dynamic pieces, and they're affected by forces, explosions, things like that. And so they can bump into the green pieces, but the green pieces won't move, but the blue pieces are affected by the impact. I do this so I can specify which part of the building gets the destruction. So as you can see here, the blue pieces are forced out by an explosion force, but the green pieces stay where they are. And then you can see here that some of the green pieces turn into blue pieces a little bit later on, and that's just to control the dynamics. Basically, the green pieces that turn blue aren't affected by the explosion force, but they're affected by gravity. So you can see them collapse in on themselves once they become blue pieces or become active. And this is just a progression of test renders that I did to get the dynamics right. You can see how simple it started, and then we get to this point where it's a little bit more complicated. I was also playing with timing as well, because I wanted an explosion on one side of the building, then quickly the other side, and then the roof collapses, causing even more damage. And then when you render it out, this is what it looks like. Remember I said I wanted to control different parts of the building at different times, so you can see here that the windows shatter, the roof is a separate element that collapses, and it affects the other pieces. And that's why it's important to separate out your elements. I also did a smoke render of the pieces coming off, so that's building dust, and then a separate render and simulation of the explosion. And the building dust separately looks like this, the explosion by itself looks like this, combine them together it looks like this, and then you combine it with the destruction and some other compositing tricks like glows and things like that, and you get this. Oh, and this laser is done in After Effects with Saber because Video Copilot is awesome. So that's it. If you have any questions, hit me up. And if you want full-length tutorials on each section of this, leave a comment and I'll consider making it for YouTube. Once again, my name is Paul Davecchio, and thanks for watching.